Okay, so take a look at these two machines. At first glance, you'd think they're identical, right? They're both what we call multi-wave oscillators, inspired by some of the great pioneers of the early 20th century. But there's one tiny difference in their design that reveals two completely different philosophies about energy, the body, and wellness. Today, we're diving into Tesla versus Lakhovsky. And here's the crazy part. The entire difference between these two incredibly powerful devices, it all boils down to a single connection. One simple wire. How is that even possible? Well, by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly how that one tiny change creates two fundamentally different approaches to everything. All right, so to really get what makes these systems so different, we've actually got to start with what makes them the same, because deep down, underneath it all, they're running on the exact same engine. That engine, that core component, is called the pulse modulator. Just think of it as the power unit. So it doesn't matter if you're building a Tesla-style system or a Lakhovsky-style system, you're starting with this exact same box. It's what you connect to this box that changes the entire game. So how does this thing actually work? Well, you can think of it kind of like a three-step dance of electricity. First, a transformer jacks the voltage way, way up. Then, bam, a spark gap chops that power into these super fast, high-frequency bursts. And finally, capacitors dump all that collected energy into the main coil. That's the powerhouse, and remember, it is identical in both designs. Okay, now that we've got the engine down, let's see how we can build our first design. We're going to start with Nikola Tesla's approach, which is all about creating one thing: a perfectly balanced system. So in the Tesla design, two things are absolutely key. The primary coil is center tapped, which just means it's connected right at its midpoint. Then it's grounded, but not to the earth. It's grounded to the machine's own metal frame. This simple setup creates this beautifully balanced, symmetrical circuit. And it's that symmetry that lets the voltage just skyrocket to over 250,000 volts. So why does this balanced circuit actually do? It creates what's called a closed loop. The energy isn't just broadcasting out into the room. No, it's oscillating, just bouncing back and forth between the two antennas. So if you're sitting in the middle, you're not getting zapped. You are simply being immersed in this incredibly powerful oscillating field. But what is a field like that? You know, the best way to think about it is like the temperature in a room. It has a strength, right? A magnitude. You can feel if it's hot or cold, but it doesn't really have a direction. It's not going anywhere. It's just there. And that's the whole essence of the Tesla system, immersing someone in a non-directional field of pure potential. All right, now let's flip the coin and look at the other side. This is where George's Lakhovsky comes in. He takes all the same core components and adds one crucial, system-altering twist. And here it is. This is the big reveal. Look at this. On the left, you've got Tesla's elegant, balanced design, center tap, grounded to the machine's frame. But on the right, that's Lakhovsky's. Notice something? No center tap. And that ground wire, it's not going to the machine. It is going straight into the earth itself. That single change just turned a balanced, closed system into an unbalanced, open one. And the effect of that is dramatic. In Lakhovsky's open system, roughly half of the energy that leaves one antenna, well, it doesn't even go to the other one. Instead, it flows right through the person in the middle and down into the earth. See the difference? This isn't just a field anymore. Now we're talking about a current. So let's really zero in on this grounding difference, because it might seem like a tiny technical detail, but electrically, it's a complete game changer. A chassis ground, like in Tesla's design, is just a local reference point. It keeps all the energy contained within that machine's closed loop. But an earth ground, that's a physical connection, literally a metal rod driven into the planet that connects the entire circuit to the massive electrical system of the earth itself. It blows the whole circuit wide open. So this means that in the Lakhovsky system, the person using it is no longer just sitting in a field. They become a physical component of the circuit. The energy is actually designed to actively flow through them on its path to the ground. So why would Lakhovsky make this change? What was he trying to achieve? Well, the answer wasn't in a lab or in some engineering textbook. It was in the world all around us. He believed that the key to wellness wasn't about inventing something new, but about replicating a fundamental, natural electrical field that sustains all life on our planet. And that natural field is massive. There is a constant electrical potential between the surface of the Earth and the ionosphere, way up in the atmosphere. and it averages around 300,000 volts. You can think of the entire planet as one giant capacitor. The Earth is one plate, the ionosphere is the other, and all of us, we're living and evolving right in the middle of this enormous natural field. Lakhovsky's Earth-grounded machine was his attempt to create a concentrated, miniature version of this very same life-sustaining system. So it all comes down to two completely different worldviews. On one hand, you have Tesla's system, a self-contained, balanced circuit designed to immerse you in a field of pure potential. On the other, you have Lakhovsky's, an open circuit grounded to the Earth itself that makes you a part of a current designed to mimic nature. And that leaves us with the central question. One machine, one set of components, but two profoundly different ideas about how energy interacts with life. Is the goal to be surrounded by an energetic potential or to become part of an energetic flow? The answer to that question is the line that divides these two remarkable designs.